Hi, I'm Leon. This is Crash Course Alternate History, and today we're going to be talking about, wait for it, the Mongols. The Mongols tried crossing the Pacific a few times, and it didn't go so well, but in this case, let's say it did go well. Let's say it went very well. Let's say the Mongols made it all the way to America, and I don't know, Alaska, before any Europeans ever showed up. What would happen to American history? Well, let's find out. So for more context on the Mongols, we're going to go to Caroline.
So to understand how the Mongols would have affected our history, we need to better understand theirs. The Mongols ruled over Asia and much of the eastern part of Europe during the 13th and 14th centuries. The kingdom was broken up into 4 khanates, and each khanate was ruled by a separate descendant of Genghis Khan. And now we go back to Leon.
So in this situation, the Mongols came over to America in 1342. This was after crossing the Bering Strait to Alaska. They made their way through western parts of the US and set up a civilization. This new Mongol civilization became known as the West Khanate, as they were very, well, self-centered. These American Mongols quite liked the land they had acquired, and so they didn't really expand all the way over to the east, allowing for European settlement. So now there are 2 different societies on either side of North America. As the US was created, more land was desired, and following actual history, expansion ensued. Now no one would ever challenge this American military that just beat the British. That is, unless you are, wait for it, the Mongols. The Mongols threatened them not to expand anymore, making sure that they kept their own land. But knowing Americans, do you really think this went well? So the Louisiana Purchase was confirmed with US President Jefferson, and soon after came the expedition of Lewis and Clark. For this, we go to the thought bubble. So in the white here we have Mongols, and they're being approached by Lewis and Clark dressed in black. Now Lewis and Clark offer a hand of friendship, but the Mongols see this as an attack, and they attack them back. Lewis and Clark were assassinated, but this was only the first of many times that Americans and Mongols would fight. Now this is yet another fight that occurred between Mongols and Americans, and you can see that similar fighting styles were used. For Americans, expansion didn't look very promising. Oh crap! Thanks, Thought Bubble. So the US tried to expand so much that they wanted to push the Mongols all the way out of America. If you remember, one of the constant beliefs of American history was manifest destiny, the belief that all the land in North America belonged to the United States, and it was just theirs for the taking. US citizens wanted all that land, and they would not stop until water was reached, that water being the Pacific Ocean. Eventually, this led to the massacre of the Oregon Trail, where Mongols were just trying to defend whatever claimed territory they had, and bodies were laid all over paths to the west. The Mongolians then teamed up with the Mexicans to try to keep Texas away from America, trying to defeat them in whatever way they could. This would be known as the Mexican-Mongolian-American War, the bloodiest one to ever occur until World War I. With the West being pretty much blocked due to a major Mongolian presence, Americans were not able to travel out for the gold rush, and gold, being the very valuable commodity that it is, was monopolized by the Mongolians. Key's social change was also hindered by the West Khanate civilization living past the Mississippi. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Frederick Douglass, both 2 important figures at the time, chose to unite forces in defending the American territory. African American and female rights were pushed to the back burner in favor of what was known as the Mongolian issue. The Compromise of 1850, originally crafted to solve the growing civil unrest due to the new territories, was never created because, well, there was no new territory to argue over. And while slavery wasn't spreading, slave-filled militias to fight the Mongolians were. And with no new territories, settlers were never able to get any land to spread their idealized hopes, anything that manifest destiny promised. The American government deemed these western territories to be too dangerous for settlement. Any parcels of land that would have been given to citizens just weren't, because they weren't in existence, and more fear was growing towards the area. Now it's time for our mystery document with Caroline.
Okay, rules here are pretty simple. If I get the author and title of the mystery document correct, I don't get hit in the face with a kickball. But if I don't, well... Genghis Khan ordained that the army should be organized in such a way that over 10 men should be set 1 man, and he is what we call a captain of 10. Over 10 of these should be placed 1, named a captain of 100. At the head of 10 captains of 100 is placed a soldier known as the captain of 1,000, and over 10 captains of 1,000 is 1 man. The word they use for this is tuman. 2 or 3 chiefs are placed in command of the whole army. yet in such a way that one holds the supreme command. I have no idea who wrote this or what it's called, so. Well then!
Having the West open for expansion was a key factor in allowing the lines of the railroad to be formed. With no new land, the Transcontinental Railroad came to a complete stop in construction. Any workers working on it were killed in the process by Mongolians. So with the instability of the Mongol civilization in the West, the United States was halted in any forward-thinking ways. Once again, the Mongols were able to slow a major power civilization in the world. This time, America. Thanks for watching. Crash Course Alternate History is produced and directed by high schoolers. The associate producer is a high schooler, and it's written by my high school history teacher, Mr. No, it's not. It's written by high schoolers. And as we say in my hometown, don't forget to be awesome.